Hey guys, it's John here. We are busy planting all of the flowers at our clients' houses. We are changing out all of our summer flowers to our beautiful cool season crops that will take all of the cooler weather that we'll have in Arizona. We're using a lot of really pretty color like alyssum, petunias, and some geraniums. I'll show you guys some beds that we're planting right now. We did this about a couple weeks ago. I'll show you guys some really pretty color that we have in here. We always love doing a really gorgeous border of alyssum here. I think it's really, really pretty. We tucked in some really blue violas, some cabbages. This is a ruby red cabbage that we've got. We actually found this at the nursery section at the the vegetable section at the nursery. Oh my gosh. And then we love petunias. They offer some really good color. We just did a mix of this really pretty like magenta Bordeaux color and a really pretty like dark purple midnight. And then we did kind of like a lighter purple to give us a little bit more contrast back here. In the back, we have some really gorgeous geraniums to give us a little bit of height. This is like a fuchsia raspberry color. It's really pretty. Love this one. I love the color of this leaf. Kind of has some darker coloring on here, which is great because it's going to provide some really nice structure back here in the winter time. And then we added some kale. This is just a red boar kale, again, another vegetable that we put back here to give us a little bit more height in the back of the bed. And then we added some spikes for some instant gratification. We went for, again, more of like a cooler tone, the raspberry and purple tones with some white. I think that color palette is just perfect for the winter time. So today's project, we are actually planting up some containers in the back. We ripped all of them out, we planted some spikes, and now we're ready to plant all of our beautiful color for the season. So we have some really fun roses here too. These are called iceberg roses, and they are blooming. Again, we have kind of a second flush after the summertime. Just a really pretty, nice white. It goes with the house really, really well. For some reason, we have some dying out randomly, but we're going to replace some of them later on this winter. We also have some really fun olive hedges. I didn't plant any of these olives, but these are a dwarf olive hedge that go really well with these roses. I think it's just a perfect, easy combo here. So anyways, this is great. I love the roses. We're going to go show you guys the pots that are in the backyard. Okay, so we have these two raised like circular planters back here, and we filled them a lot of like just seasonal color. I usually like to do like more cottage style things back here. So in the springtime, we'll have a lot of foxgloves and delphiniums and ranunculus. But for the summertime, we have some really pretty angelonias. Look how gorgeous this is. This is the Wedgwood pink angelonia. She's just been a showstopper all summer long. I love the pinky bicolor of them. Angelonias are always a great summer flower just because they take the heat so well. And they're one of the more taller summer flowers, so that's why we love growing them in our cottage garden. I love this raspberry one, really pretty. And then we have a blue one back here too that does really well. I think this is the angel face blue. But we have it mixed in with some sweet potato vines that kind of just took over everything. We had some gomphrena in here that is no longer with us. That's fine because Angelonia kind of fizzles out a little bit. This one's a new one for 2025. It's not blooming a ton right now, but this is called Berry Sparkler. Just a really pretty raspberry and pink bicolor Angelonia. We did have another fireworks gomphrena that died back here. I think when they're leaning over like this over a ledge, I think it just snapped, like the whole plant snapped. And so we got to remove that, but we have to remove the whole bed anyways for some beautiful things this fall. I love this plant. You guys know I love mahogany splendors hibiscus, just a really pretty color. And I am obsessed with this pairing. Do you see this? This is the, I think, dark pink Angelonia. Look at that. Ugh. Such a beautiful combo. And then we have some millet in the back. This is the Copper Prince millet. I have a ton of that at my house. We had zinnias in here. I don't know where they left or where they went, but they disappeared. And then some gomphrena down here. We have some more beds over here, more of like the vegetable section. I'll show you guys these two. We have a massive, massive fireworks gomphrena right here. This is one plant, you guys. One plant. It's like 6 feet wide, but it has gotten absolutely massive. It has loved its life. Look at that. Definitely planting this again next year, but it has been an absolute beast. Blooming from the time we planted it, and we grew this one from seed. Super easy to grow from seed. And then back here we have more angelonia. We did a lot of pink back here, mixed in more angelonias. We have some dragon's breath that actually reseeded. How fun is that? Did not plant any of these. And then we have a lot of like vegetables back here. We have some basil. We had some really big sunflowers back here, and we just needed to get rid of them. They were done. They were looking kind of ratty. Lots of basil. This is lemon basil. Gosh, we need to really come in here and hack these back. Some globe basil, some cinnamon basil. And then this is my favorite right now. This is a roselle hibiscus, you guys. This is the stuff you make hibiscus tea out of if you ever get like a packet of hibiscus tea. But after the flowers fade, they make these like calyxes. And this is what you steep. You take this off the plant like this. Oop. There we go. You take it off and then you steep this in tea. It's really nice. It's a little bitter if you just decide to eat it. It is edible, but it is pretty yummy. You can make a jam out of this too that tastes exactly like cranberries. It's really, really yummy. So this plant is related to cotton and the mahogany splendors hibiscus and hollyhocks. It's in the mallow family. I don't think any of these blooms are open. It's a little early. They're gonna open up later on today, but they make these really pretty flowers and they're absolutely gorgeous. And I've actually used stems like this in arrangements, like flower arrangements. You can take stems like this, strip the leaves off, and tuck them into arrangements because it's really pretty having these calyxes in some flowers. So we're going to show you guys the backyard. There's 14 pots and some roses back here, and we're planting some really fun stuff. Okay, so this is the backyard. We have some roses over here that are absolutely gorgeous in the springtime. Don't mind the tree that's growing in the bed. We're gonna get that removed soon. But our containers are back here. And sometimes we don't have all of our flowers ready at one time because we're sourcing them from different nurseries and different places. So sometimes if the containers are looking kind of rough, sometimes we'll just rip out the containers and just plant a beautiful spike. That's what we did here last week until we got all of our plants in place. So this is a gorgeous cordyline. It's a purple spike, and I love using this as an accent. It really complements a lot of the other flowers and just gives some interest the entire length of the growing season. Now, I wish these were perennials here, but for some reason, they just cannot handle our summers. Usually they live up until like the end of June, and I feel like they always die in the middle of July when it's like 115 degrees, but they're still great for our winter garden. So we have 11 pots over here, and then we have 3 of them back there against the wall here. And they're all hooked on irrigation, which is great. I think the client said that she had some agaves in these beds and they would rot all the time. That's the biggest problem people have with like agaves is they just randomly rot, and I think it's because of the rain. If we get a big rainstorm, if you get like water in the grounds, that can happen. So flower pots were put in here, and we have loved having this color back here. So we're gonna pot everything up. I'll show you guys kind of what we're planting in each pot, and I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like. Okay, so we're planting up the first container, and I love nothing more than a beautiful ornamental cabbage. This one's called, well, I guess it's just called ornamental kale. I think this is Osaka red, just a really pretty rosette. It's gonna get darker and darker as the season progresses and as it gets colder, and it's gonna provide a lot of texture in the dead of winter. Now, a lot of these flowers will bloom all season long, but they kind of take a little bit of a lull during the coldest times of the year in December and January. So having some really pretty, nice winter interest is a great way to add a lot of interest to your garden. And whenever we're planting these kales, we always face them towards wherever you're gonna view them the most. So we typically don't view them this way. Her kitchen is in facing that way. So we're gonna plant these facing her kitchen window right here on a little bit of an angle here. So we're actually gonna plant this at a 45-degree angle facing the kitchen a little bit so that you can see this rosette. You don't wanna plant this straight up and down. You wanna plant it on an angle because that's where you're gonna see a lot of this color. So we're gonna plant these there. We're also gonna plant some geraniums for some height to kind of tuck in between this really pretty cordyline. Gorgeous. And then I love tucking this This is a trailing alyssum. It's called White Stream. You can see it's already trailing quite a bit, but this is gonna grow really, really well. We planted these in here last year, and we're gonna tuck this right next to the kale. Again, this alyssum is gonna provide some really great winter interest as well. And I know these plants look kind of small now, but they're gonna fill in really quickly. We're gonna use a water-soluble fertilizer. We love using the Proven Winners mix, just a really great brand. We also have used like Jack's Classic before. Any Proven Winners water-soluble fertilizer is great. So this one's called Indian Summer. Really pretty petunia. Look at that, you guys. Just like a peachy coral tone. Obsessed with this color. And this one's like a really heavy trailer, so it's going to trail all the way down to the ground. This is a wave purple. It's really more of like a magenta burgundy color than purple, but that one's going to be really pretty as well. And then we have this darker one called mulberry. That's going to be more of a mounding petunia, so we're going to use it as more of like a base color in here. Petunias are great just because, again, they can take the cooler weather. They bloom their best in fall and spring. They take a little bit of a winter hiatus. They grow more like vegetatively in the wintertime. They still bloom, but we love that for just some really pretty base color here. And then for the height, again, we're gonna add a couple more snapdragons in here. I think that's gonna be really, really pretty. And then we're gonna add another alyssum on the other side of this pot here. Perfect. Okay, and I think that's gonna be good. Love this. So we're gonna finish up the rest of the containers, you guys, and then we'll show you guys what they look like towards the end. Okay, you guys, we are back. We planted up all of our containers. We planted up 11 of them, and they turned out really, really well. I have a tendency to plant way too many plants in a container, so we slightly underplanted from what we normally do, but these are gonna grow in really, really quickly. I'll give you guys an update in about a month from now. They're gonna fill in, and if we need to add anything at that time, we will definitely do that. But again, we used some geraniums, some really pretty snapdragons. These will get taller, about a foot or two. Trailing petunias, this one's called Indian Summer. Trailing alyssum, again, this one's going to trail off the side here. This one was so pretty last year. A mulberry petunia. We did use wave petunias in some of the containers as well. And then this really pretty ornamental cabbage. And this absolutely gorgeous spike here. These were so pretty last year. We definitely used the same colors as for the previous season. We did switch out some of the varieties here, but anyways, you guys, that is it for today's video. We will leave the link for all of our ranunculus and anemone corms. They are still available on our website, so definitely check that out. And we still have plants available, live plants available for shipping on the week of November 10th. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.